The drone sightings continued last night over Morris County and have now been spotted in other areas of the state. Where they're coming from and who's controlling them remains a mystery. Hey, Ernie and Candace, the FAA has placed a temporary restriction on drone flights over Picatinny Arsenal and over Trump National Golf Course in Bedminster. When these drones were first spotted 2 weeks ago, the Morris County Prosecutor's Office said that they posed no known threat to public safety. But people want to know, what the heck are they and what are they doing? It's normal to see red and green lights in December, unless they're coming from mysterious drones in the night sky.
It's kind of unsettling. They're not up for 15 minutes, they're up for hours. Some are very big, probably the size of a car.
Mike Walsh says he's seen hundreds of them over the past 2 weeks from his Randolph backyard and has the video to prove it.
They kind of go slow, they come towards you, then they'll change direction a little. They're all going different ways.
The drones have been spotted all over Morris County. Morristown police sent an alert to residents Sunday saying they are aware of drone activity and that if a drone crashes or lands, do not approach or handle it. The FBI's Newark field office would only say it is working with other law enforcement agencies to figure out what's going on, but at the moment doesn't have enough information to share.
A lot of people want to know what's going on. I think more people are coming around to that, oh, this is going on and maybe it's not good.
Nancy Reed didn't want to show her face on camera, but says she's seen the drones every night since November 18th.
I can see them right out my bedroom window. I can watch them. Last night was about 5:30, so it was earlier. But it's normally anywhere between like 7:30 and 10:30, they're out here. Never during the day. Nobody ever sees them during the day.
One thing she hasn't seen is the normal air traffic she's used to, and she doesn't understand why.
We're in the fly pattern going to like Morristown Airport and Newark, and we used to see a lot of planes coming back and forth. You don't see them anymore.
Now, we also reached out to Picatinny Arsenal because of reports that the drones were flying over the military base. So far, we have not heard back. Reporting live in Randolph, New Jersey, I'm Katie Corrado, Pix 11 News. The drone sightings continued last night over Morris County and have now been spotted in other areas of the state. Where they're coming from and who's controlling them remains a mystery.
What is that?
Lots of drone sightings and still little to no explanation.
The fact that our police, the county, the state, no one has anything to say about it, I think is crazy.
We went in search of answers Wednesday and learned this from the mayor of Mendham Borough.
I know that these drones are not new. They've been going on for a while now, like well over a year. It's just increasing. It's at a much more rapid level.
Beyond that, local mayors are asking questions like the rest of us, hoping for answers from county, state, and federal counterparts.
People are unnerved about it because there's no answer to who they are, who's controlling these drones, and why there's so many of them.
Aviation expert J.P. Tristani says his biggest concern is having unauthorized drones flying in an already crowded airspace that serves Newark, LaGuardia, JFK, Teterboro, and Morristown airports.
It's like a symphony in the sky of aircraft. All of them have prescribed paths. You start throwing unidentified objects, such as drones, or UFOs, into that pattern, and you have a very critical problem with safety in the air.
The FBI has acknowledged it's received reports of what look to be clusters of drones and a possible fixed-wing aircraft. The agency's Newark field office said Wednesday, quote, "We understand the concern and we are doing all we can to figure out what's going on. We truly don't have much information to provide at the moment." Part of the concern is how close these drones are flying to Picatinny Arsenal. The Arsenal says it's aware of reports of unmanned aerial vehicles and is working with local, state, and federal organizations to obtain more information. Residents hope that information comes soon.
It's kind of crazy, really, the fact that they're up there, no one knows where they've come from.
We also reached out to the Morris County Office of Emergency Management, which referred us to the Morris County Prosecutor's Office. The Prosecutor's Office then referred us to the FBI. Reporting in Mendham, New Jersey, I'm Katie Corrado, Pix 11 News.
Well, that's right. The woman who took those cell phone videos lives here along 3rd Avenue in Bay Ridge, Brooklyn. And she says she saw what she believed to be those drones over by the Verrazano Bridge. She posted those videos online and now has gotten the attention of Congresswoman Nicole Malliotakis, who represents this area. And she is among those demanding answers as to what is going on. Diane Atkins says she first heard a roaring noise and then looked out her window in Bay Ridge to see these lights, several in the sky near the Verrazano Bridge. She believes they are all drones.
They started to change from like white lights. They started to get like more like reddish green blinking lights. There had to be in total 10, maybe 12 of these things, and some of them came closer. They went over my building. You could hear the whir of the motor. They seemed pretty large.
Any chance they could be planes?
Absolutely not. Definitely not planes. And there were too many of them. There's no way planes could fly that close together.
Atkins shared her video on X, and Congresswoman Nicole Malliotakis reposted, demanding answers from the NYPD, FBI, and Department of Homeland Security. Over the weekend, drones were also spotted over Staten Island, and we've been telling you about numerous sightings over New Jersey, especially in Morris County. On Monday, Pix 11 News asked Governor Phil Murphy for answers about the drones.
We don't see any concern for public safety. That's number one. Number two, having said that, it's really frustrating that we don't have more answers as to where they're coming from and why they're doing what they're doing.
Last week, the FBI's Newark field office issued this statement to Pix 11 News. We understand the concern, and we are doing all we can to figure out what's going on. We truly don't have much information to provide at the moment.
I was on with the White House and Homeland Security leadership literally at the very top yesterday for pretty much all day. I'm hoping we'll get answers sooner than later. I would just ask folks to continue to let the FBI or their local law enforcement know when they see something.
What's going on in America? Why doesn't our government tell us what's going on in these skies? Is this the military doing active military things? Then let us know.
And the FBI says you can report those drone sightings by calling the FBI at 1-800-CALL-FBI or on their TIPS website, which is tips.fbi.gov. We are live here in Bay Ridge, Brooklyn. Eileen LaPalmer, Pix 11 News. Back to you.
Drones should be red and green. That means they are connected to the controller.
Like everyone else in New Jersey, drone pilot Mike Anella is trying to decipher the recent mysterious sightings.
This, solid green. That's highly unusual.
He's been using commercial drones from his own business, New Jersey Drone Shots, to take video of the unidentified craft. Some turn out to be just regular planes flying into Newark.
We could tell by the tail and the logo it was a United Airlines flight.
But others he can't explain and says they're not ordinary drones.
I wouldn't even think how to transport them. They're huge. They're the size of cars. The light pattern is very unusual, and the way that they're flying so low is not understanding.
He also doesn't understand how they managed to stay airborne for so long, especially now.
It takes a lot of more power to operate a drone in the cold. I can get about 45 minutes in the air just hovering with my drone. These drones are up in the air for more than 2 hours.
Perhaps the most puzzling part is why we still don't have answers. Anella says the skies are closely regulated, and flying over a sensitive space like Picatinny Arsenal would attract attention fast.
If I took one of my drones over one of those areas, I would have law enforcement on me in probably 10 seconds.
Until we know what's going on, he's cautious about where he flies and hopes it doesn't impact his business.
We want answers. Because effectively, I want to make sure I could feel safe to fly.
That's the one going up the shore.
Scott Ingenito was fishing Saturday at Island Beach State Park when he saw what he describes as lights brighter than stars forming over the horizon.
When they came toward the shore, it changed from a bright white light to a winged craft with flashing lights.
Doesn't seem to be bothered.
He says it was so strange, he's barely slept since.
It came directly over my head, which scared me. I don't know what it is. It's not a plane. If you've seen one, you'll know it's not a plane.
Without any answers from the feds, speculation runs wild. Theories range from otherworldly UAPs to test programs from Amazon or Google. Both tech giants tell us they're not responsible.
Whatever it is, if the government's not saying anything, it's really scary. I mean, if they have to know something after all this time.
They have to land somewhere, right? So why isn't somebody tracking it and seeing where it lands?
Middletown Mayor Tony Perry spoke to that point on the Pix 11 Morning News. He says commercial drones give off a signal that police can intercept. These drones seem different.
State police have been unable to to acquire a signal coming off of these drones to be able to lower them to the ground.
He says their estimated battery life is 6 to 8 hours, suggesting they're military grade.
The state keeps saying, and the federal government keeps saying, that there's no imminent threat. Until you tell me where these are coming from and who's responsible for them, they're an imminent.
8:32 right now, and all morning we've been talking about the drones, right? This is a huge talker of a story. Hundreds of sightings across New York and New Jersey, even a congressional hearing about what is going on.
So yesterday, lawmakers from across New Jersey gathered for a meeting held by state police to try and get to the bottom of those mysterious drone sightings. Our next guest was there. He has an update for us. Middletown, New Jersey Mayor Tony Perry. Thank you so much for being here with us. So what was the big takeaway from the meeting? Are we any closer to learning where these drones are from?
Unfortunately, no. And the lead investigators for these drone sightings was not there to brief us, which was the most misunderstood, perplexing part of this entire briefing. Was the FBI was not there. So unfortunately, now there are more questions than we have answers. And just yesterday when I was driving home, I saw late last night a drone hovering about 200 feet above Route 35 in Middletown. So unfortunately, the briefing yesterday was really just a compilation of the frustrations that mayors and lawmakers across New Jersey continue to have.
Let me ask a question that I've heard from so many people, which is, why can't you see the drone in the sky and then follow it to where it lands? What's the answer to that?
Well, apparently, according to the state police, they have followed a few. I know that the Ocean County Sheriff has also used his drones, which unfortunately could not keep up with the speed. And state police reported yesterday that the battery life on these drones, they're estimating to be between 6 and 8 hours, which has led many to believe, including Congressman Van Drew, who yesterday reported that these drones were coming from a ship offshore. That question came up, and the Coast Guard, I know, according to the state police briefing yesterday, is searching the 130-mile coastline of New Jersey. But it is very concerning that you have more than 180 drone sightings across the state of New Jersey over our infrastructure, our electrical grid, our water reservoirs, and most importantly, our military installations, which do cause a big concern, especially here in Middletown, as we're home to Naval Weapons Station Earl.
Jeff Van Drew had actually said it was an Iranian mothership, right? So did that come up? It seems like that idea has already been knocked down here. Any proof of why he would have said that to begin with?
I haven't spoken with the congressman. It did come up because Congressman Van Drew did make that announcement on national news while we were all in the briefing, which was a bit alarming because we all turned to the superintendent of the state police and said, "Is this true?" Now, he at the time said that it wasn't, but I have no reason to doubt that Congressman Van Drew wouldn't have some type of reason to say that there is some type of foreign adversary that is responsible for this.
Okay.
These drones have been here for long enough. They're flying over military spaces in Virginia and New Jersey, so which has clear signs saying no drones. Why not shoot it down and then investigate what it is?
Well, the FAA is responsible for the airspace. Many people have come to me and said, why not just shoot them and take them out of the air? I understand that mentality and the rationale behind why people would want to see the drones be fired upon. I think that the state police and especially the military, you come within 500 feet of the pier at Naval Weapons Station Earl, they are authorized to shoot at your 27-foot center console boat. So why not take down one of these drones to try and investigate and understand what the origin of these drones are? Because the state keeps saying and the federal government keeps saying that there's no imminent threat. Until you tell me where these are coming from and who's responsible for them, they're an imminent threat.
Well, that's my question, right? How do you know? How can you so confidently tell the public that there's no imminent threat if you don't know what it is, if you don't know where it came from?
Yeah, it's so ridiculous that we continue to sit there and act as if this is no issue. It is very alarming and concerning that for weeks now we are no closer to an answer today than we were on November 18th when they were first spotted. And there are growing concerns that these drones have been here a lot longer and just haven't been noticed in certain parts of the state. So we have a lot of questions that are still unanswered. And unfortunately, with the FBI not being there yesterday, who's in charge of this, who we've all been told to direct our residents to not be there for this briefing was absolutely ridiculous, in my opinion.
It makes me believe like the FBI knows what's going on, but that information's classified and they're not releasing it to the public. But what we were talking about earlier in the commercial break, I found very interesting. Can you sort of tell our audience what Virginia and New Jersey has in common?
Well, you've got to look at both of those states, and it's a huge concentration of military installations in both of them. I mean, most of our submarines come out of Virginia, out of Norfolk, Virginia. New Jersey has not only Fort Dix, but Naval Weapons Station Earl here in Middletown. You have Picatinny Arsenal up in Morris County. So when you see drones in those two areas, knowing that there is this massive concentration of military bases, why wouldn't we be taking a more proactive approach at bringing these drones down? If a drone comes over top of MetLife Stadium during a Giants or Jets games, which is probably the most entertaining part of those two games could be, state police brings those drones down. They have the technology, but state police have been unable to acquire a signal coming off of these drones to be able to lower them to the ground. I just can't believe that we are unable to acquire a signal. What it means to me is that you're seeing some type of foreign adversary take advantage of weak leadership at the federal government.
I know we got to go. We're out of time here. And this is not a flipping question. I just have to ask it. Are we sure it's a drone, right? Because you're going to have the conspiracy theorists who are like, well, it's a UFO, which is like an alien.
Yeah. Listen, I'm not going to pretend to be an aviation expert. But yesterday, I was pretty close to this drone over top of Route 35, hovering about 200 feet. And, you can hear them buzzing around. I'm going to stick with the drone. I'm not going to put a tinfoil hat on.
Mayor, I really I appreciate you joining us this morning. You were excellent. Please come on back. Keep us posted, okay?
Friday night, as Pix 11 cameras captured two drones buzzing past the Verrazano Bridge, the Biden administration aiming to calm the growing hysteria surrounding the tri-state mystery.
We believe that there are cases of mistaken identity where drones are actually small aircraft and people are misidentifying them. There very well may be drones in the sky, of course, but those are commercially available.
Governor Phil Murphy demanding more federal resources amid few answers. An estimated 3,000 sightings over the last month, mostly concentrated in New Jersey. Some spotters believe the unidentified aircraft are the size of cars.
That had lights all around it, almost like the classic UFO that you would see online.
However, the Homeland Security Secretary believes people's eyes are deceiving them, reiterating there's no foreign or national security threat, but that taking action is complicated.
It's not as though anyone can just take down a drone in the sky. That in and of itself would be dangerous.
Do you have the authority to shoot down drones?
Our authorities are very limited.
The nighttime phenomenon mostly happening in suburban areas, though Picatinny Arsenal and a Navy weapons station in Colts Neck, New Jersey confirmed drones had entered their airspace. Glenn Ignazio is a retired Special Forces pilot.
Yeah, and there's electronic means to be able to take those down.
John from Bay Ridge has seen them for the past 2 nights.
Is it concerning?
Of course.
Why?
Because surveillance is concerning, right? I mean, we're already surveilled throughout the world, the internet.
Now President-elect Trump and elected officials on Staten Island demanding the government come clean.
Well, let's be honest with the American people and treat them like adults and tell them what it is.
It's our government, or there's a foreign nexus.